All right. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Hi. It's Bill Gilliland, and uh, what we're here to talk about today is what is going on and how we can respond to it. And whatever we thought that 2020 was going to be like, it's going to be different. For some of us, it's going to be better. I mean, some people are actually benefiting this. Some of my clients have actually gotten calls, and people are sitting around, particularly in the remodeling space. People are wondering, like, what can I do here or what can I do there? And then some folks, are thinking, well, maybe we need something bigger where you're sitting around here. And then I've got other people that are virtually unaffected, other than it's harder to do things or it's harder to slow down. And then I've got other folks that have actually been impacted pretty heavily. I had one guy who had 4 starts planned for March, and none of them are going to happen. They've all been delayed. So that's been a big hit for him. Now it's given us some opportunities, and we'll talk about what the opportunity is in this here, in this reality that we're in. So yeah, let's jump in. All right. So one of my views on this is that, hey, or a metaphor that I think applies here is that the race has been interrupted. Okay, the virus has interrupted the race. It has made us slow down. Has made us change things. But the pace car is back out and running. We don't know exactly when the race is going to restart at full speed. Maybe for you right now, you're kind of behind the pace car and you're kind of circling, but at some point the pace car is going to get out of the way. And my question to you is, are you going to be ready for the restart? And so that's what I'm focusing on with most of my businesses, whether I've got a couple of businesses that are completely not in business. They're not in business now, they're shut. So we're really focusing pretty hard on the restart. All right. So that's the metaphor that we're going to be using today. So let's get into the 11 things that I believe you should be doing right now to get ready for this restart. All right. So first of all, we all know people who live in blame, excuse, and denial. Okay. There are still some people that are denying this is a thing, but I can tell you it's impacting you whether you believe it's a thing or not. You can't be in denial as to what the impacts of this is for us. Now, what I have heard is a whole bunch of excuses. Well, I can't get the supplies, or somebody didn't want to do this, or we went in immediately into blame. So we moved into excuses and blame. So what we've got to do first is get our head out of excuses and blame and up into responsibility. This is a bit of a hierarchy. Okay, so the middle of that yellow thing is a point of power. Okay, that's called the point of power. By the way, if you have questions or anything along the way, or something comes up, just put it in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll come back to it towards the end. I'll leave some time for some chat or Q&A, and we can talk about your specific situation. So we want to move from excuses to blame up to responsibility, to accountability, to ownership. But mainly we want to get out of blame and excuse and into responsibility. The root word of when you break down responsibility, it's able to respond. Are you able? How are you going to respond to whatever's going on? We've got a little bit of adversity. We've got some supplier stuff. We've got, one of the main things I'm hearing is around staff, and we'll talk a little bit about that. What the folks that are working with us are subs, how are they working? How do they want to work? Are they, because they're all scared. They're scared. This is a real thing. This virus is real. People are gonna get sick. It's just part of it, and we can avoid a lot of it. Now we're under, governor's orders and maybe orders in your particular jurisdiction that are making. Now, so far, building has been an essential thing, and if we're responsible and do the right things and do it right, wash your hands, wear the protective gear, stay 6 feet apart, talk, communicate with our clients, then we're going to be fine. But if we don't do the things we're going to do, they'll shut us down just like everybody else, and we don't want that. Okay, so we can live in excuse and be powerless, or we can move up to powerful. So we want to move from reasons to results. We want to move, the fancy word for excuses is reasons. So we want to move out of that into results. So step one is get out of excuse and get into responsibility. All right, I think a lot of us have taken that already there. Step two, we got to lead. We need to be, as builders and members of the Builders Association, we need to be leaders in our community. We need to be leaders of our people. It doesn't mean that we need to sugarcoat the situation, but we do need to stay positive. We do need to stay upbeat. Whatever it takes for you to get positive in the morning so that you can go out and keep the subs and keep your crews and keep everybody positive, that's what we need to do, okay? So there's two ways to look at it. You know, the Chinese have a thing. One is danger, the other is opportunity. In every danger, there is an opportunity. In every crisis, there is an opportunity. In every situation, there is an opportunity. We just need to find it. That's part of leadership. So the first thing we got to do is stay calm, okay? Then we've got to lead our people. The first thing we've got to do is get on, be the leader, be out front, create some clarity for your people, all right? Look for small wins. If something good happens, celebrate it. Let's look for the small things. There's some of the times it's not going to, sometimes there's going to be maybe even some big wins in this, okay? But let's look for the small things that we can do. Understand what business we're in and how it's changed, okay? And maybe there's an opportunity for you to be in another business. I was talking to an HVAC guy the other day, and one of the things he's pushing right now, he's got UV lights as part of their systems that, obviously kill viruses and bacteria. So he's pushing the UV side of it. That's a new, it's not something he pushed before. It's something he had available, but now he's got it. He's moving pretty heavy with it. All right. So what business can you be in that maybe you're not? All right. Maybe you have to be it. Look, the news is out there. We can't get away from it. It's go avoid this, go avoid that. But sometimes less news is better. What I'd recommend is, pay attention to reputable sources. Maybe, look, take a couple of days off from the news. Don't, on the weekends or whatever, don't listen to the news. Pick it back up on Monday. Be up on what's going on. But, don't just get sucked into the news cycle. The media are loving this. The media are loving this. All right. And look, you need to make a new 90-day plan. 2020's changed. If you don't have a plan for the next 90, look, I don't know how long this is going to last, but our best guess based on what the Chinese situation is maybe about 90 days would be a good, hopefully, so I'm optimistic on that. I mean, this is going to, the remnants of this are going to continue for a while, but my wife was talking to a lady in China last night, and they're back to pretty much normal. So look, make a new 90-day plan. This is about what we're going to do for the next 90 days. And we'll talk about a little bit more. I'll give you a way that I can help you with that if you'd like. Okay. All right. Positive communication. And this is probably it. Communication. This is the one I'm hearing the most. The staff is scared. The staff doesn't know what's going on. Some of our staff doesn't want to work. Well, that's okay. You can't make them. All right. All right. With your team, you've got to be a leader. With your subs, you've got to be a leader. Okay, you've got to lay it out. What are the steps you're taking? Are you doing I noticed y'all posted a thing for a hand wash station. Do you have a hand wash station on your job sites? Do you have, the proper gear? Do you have all that stuff that's going to allow you to be on the site safely? Are you communicating well with your team first? First is your team. Second is, are you clear on what your vision and goals are so that your team knows that, hey, we're moving forward with this? I was talking to a very large electrical contractor yesterday, and that's part of what we're doing. We're being clear on what we're doing with the goals and the visions so that we can so that the people know, and there are people who are not comfortable or in the group that could be affected by this, and they're not working. That we're allowing them not to work. That's part of why they're doing some of the financial stuff that we're going to talk about in a little while. And you got to have passion and enthusiasm. You got to communicate. It doesn't mean you sugarcoat it. Be real, but you can have passion and enthusiasm through this thing as the leader. Remember, lead and be positive. All right. Now, with your clients, sometimes you're going to have to talk them off. So they're scared too. People don't know what's going on with this thing. People are still scared. I think people in the last week or so have gotten a little more comfortable with whatever it's going to be. But we've got to communicate positively with our customer. We've got to let them know what we're doing. We've got to do it. So step 2 of your plan has got to be positive communication. All right. Now, you've got to be in constant contact with your suppliers. All right, this is really important for us because there's probably going to be some disruption from what happened in China. Some of the stuff that came through China is probably going to go short in the next 30, 60, 90 days. All right, so we've got to be in touch with our suppliers because we got to look at our supply chain to make sure we can get the materials that we want to have. We've got to be in constant contact with them. You know, with your clients, I mean, you should probably be talking to them regularly, if not weekly, and letting them know what you're doing, how you're doing it, keeping them calm, keeping them going. All right. With your community. Once I said we need to be leaders in the community. We need to be some of the people out front saying, hey, we're essential, but we're being responsible in this community. Okay. And we're doing the things, we're doing it right. We're not doing it. We're leading in the fact that we're going to do it the right way. All right. All right. Step 4, virtual is the new normal. Look, you know, one of my builder clients, I was talking to him the other day. I mean, he's pretty much hunkered down he goes out every once in a while, but he's pretty much hunkered down in an office at his house or in a bedroom, I think. But, you know, we got to learn and use the cool technology. What, you know, are you using, you know, how are you communicating? A lot of my clients are using Slack right now to communicate. That's a great tool to be able to use that's out there. I had to learn, you know, I'm getting way better at webinars because I had to get webinars. I like to do live events. You know, how did the technologies all work together? I mean, there's just so much in there to learn. It's a good time to learn it. You know, we're having to use, you know, with our crews, you know, we're sending them out, you know, one in a truck. Maybe that, you know, you may end up with 5 trucks on a job site. We're keeping them 6 feet apart. We're doing the things to be safe with this. We're taking it seriously. All right. Human management. It's hard enough to manage people when you're there with them every day or when you see them every day or when you have a meeting. This is what we've got to do now as managers. We have got to learn how to set standards. We have got to learn how to have regular communication. We've got to have goals for them. We've got to set, you know, we've got to set the rules of how we're going to do this from a distance. Okay. You know, what are your policies? How are they? When are you going to meet? You know, I like to have 2 meetings. I like to have a team meeting once a week, and then I like to have an individual meeting. Those don't have to stop just because, you know, they can be either done on the phone or by, you know, some visual, Zoom, whatever. We you know, Skype, one of those, any of those things that you use. You know, how are you reporting? What's going on how are you going to know what's actually happening out there? You know, we're so used to putting our eyes on it. Great. Well, you can still do that as long as it's safe, but, you know, how are the people on the jobs going to report to you? When are you going to do your planning? How are you going to do that as a team? Okay. And then what are the metrics that everybody needs to be reporting to you? Okay. On a daily basis. Like if they were supposed to get this far on the job, how far did they get? Maybe they can send you pictures or a video or something every day and let you know. All right. There's ways to do that, but virtual is a new normal. Get used to it. It's going to make us better. Customer service. We've got to be talking to our customers. We're obviously not going to talk to them in person when we might stand 6 feet apart, but we're generally going to be somehow virtual. You got to get good at the phone. You got to get good at Zoom. You got to get good at whatever it takes to do it. And then we've got to get good at communicating regularly. Now, right now, I believe we should be communicating more with everybody, more with the staff, more with the customers, more with the suppliers. Right now, I don't think you can over communicate right now. I never heard, I mean, one of the first things that if you talk to a first responder or you talk to somebody who's been in the military who actually does disaster planning, they'll tell you that communication is the first thing that you got to get. You got to have a communication plan. That's why I have it before this. So, but you can't over communicate right now. It's hard enough to communicate with body language and seeing everybody, but right now we've got to communicate more. All right. Look, this thing could be months. It's going to be months. We know we already know it's going to be through the end of April. It's likely going to be through the end of May, maybe into June. Okay. So it's definitely going to be months. It could go longer than that. Hey, and it's not going to be over then. Do you think people are going to quit wearing masks? Do you think people are going to be a little bit leery to shake your hand when all this is over? I'll be so glad when all that comes back. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a while before people are going to be comfortable in a social situation and with hugs and all that stuff. It's just going to be a while. Okay. So we need to get used to that. All right, step 5, we've got to be all over our cash flow. All right, cash is king right now. Hopefully, you got to know your costs. Maybe there's some things like I took a hard look at some of my bills. I saved $1,000 on one bill because it was just one of those things that kept coming every month, and I didn't need it. So look at the things that where you can conserve costs. Okay, we got to get into that deep. There's a lot of things that are wasteful that we've just let happen because we got a little fat. Let's face it, we got a little fat and happy over the last 5-6 years, and there's some things that we've allowed to creep up on us, and we got to get all over that. All right. Hopefully you're working on this. If the banks right now are slammed with the PPPs and the SBA stuff, but if you can extend credit, if you can find credit, if you can get maybe even a different credit card, even if you don't use it, we may need it. Okay, so it's a good time to do that. The banks are still lending money. I think once this PPP thing settles down, we'll do it. Hopefully, you've taken advantage of all of those. You need to be applying for the PPP. And it's a pain. Just tell you, I've done it for both of my businesses, and you need to be out there taking advantage of government things. Like, when is the last time the government actually did something good for us in medium and small business? This is a chance, I think, if it all works out. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to happen anytime quickly. My bank is like, hey, I got your stuff, but I don't know when we're going to be able to get it into the SBA. So essentially, I haven't applied for anything yet. There are some things you can apply to if you've been affected directly with the SBA. I've got one client who's doing nothing. He's like, look, we're all right. I went into my bank. I called them up. They extended my credit line, to a big number. I can get out there. I'm good. We're covered. We still have business coming in, not at the level we thought we were going to. This is a roofing client, and he had it. So suppliers and partners. Okay, great. So there's 2 ways you can look at cash flow: what's coming in and what's going out. So work with your suppliers and partners. That's why you got to be in communication with them. Maybe you need some different terms. Maybe it's a good time to renegotiate your deal with your suppliers. Whatever. Get all over this. Okay. If there was a project or something you were going to do, maybe you need to postpone it for a little while. Maybe you need to think about it. Okay. Maybe not, but maybe if there's something that all of a sudden things are looking different. Maybe you had an initiative you were going to do, maybe like you were going to add some software or something. Maybe you need it now because of the technology, but maybe it was something that was just going to be an upgrade and it would just be a distraction right now. You can postpone it, save the money, do it in 3 to 6 months when this thing's over. Okay. All right. Cost structures. All right. Sometimes you just have to change your cost structure, the way you do business. All right. And so it's a good time to look at that sort of thing. And just take a hard look at your margins, take a hard look at what things are costing you. Take a hard look, maybe go back to your suppliers, get a different deal. All right. Let me do a quick check-in here. Is everybody okay? Anybody need I got a question so far? Everybody cool? Give me a thumbs up or something, yes in the chat or the Q&A, either one. Anything there? Things are good. Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling. All right, step 6, get the most from your people. Now remember, your team is more than just your employees. Obviously you got employees, but we've also got subs, we've got our bankers, we've got everybody that are suppliers, we've got our lawyer, our accountant, your coach, whoever it is. Get the most from your people. All right. So let's talk about how to do that. Obviously, hopefully, I think everybody's got good people right now. Lay out the rules, communicate effectively, motivate and reward them. You'll be fine. So we've got to work every single day and one of the ways to do this is to move them from fear to focus. Okay. They're a little scared. Let's give them something to focus on. All right. Let's give them the safety tools. We've got to be sensitive. One of the things I've learned of this is we've got to be sensitive. I've been through 4 of these downturns in my career. Okay. So I'm not really here to talk about the medical side of things. I'm talking about the economic side of things. So from our people standpoint of view, we've got to get them from fear to focus. We've got to get them focused on the job at hand. We want to keep them safe first. Okay, so if anybody's feeling bad, obviously they can't come in. If anybody tests positive, you got to take them off the job site. One of my clients, I said, worst case, what happens? And he said, worst case, somebody on one of our members gets it. And I said, what do you do? He said, we'll shut down for 14 days. It'll be just like it rained for 14 days on an outside job. And we didn't get anything done. That's all we can do. You know, we got to take care of our people first. But we've got to move them to some sort of focus as long as we're healthy. All right. Look, there's going to be different standards right now. We've got to come up with the new standards for our people. And by the way, we should have standards for our people anyway. If we don't, then it's a good time to implement them. All right. Remember to be the leader. Don't, you've got to make a decision. It may not be the right decision, but make a decision. Sometimes you've got people that are a cost center that we have to make a profit center. So maybe there's somebody who pretty much, did your books or something along those lines. Maybe they have to be a courier. Maybe they have to go pick up equipment. Maybe they have to go pick up some stuff. Maybe they have to figure out how to make you money. Maybe they have to work on getting some of these loans for you. They're either going to make you money or they're going to save you some money somehow. By the way, the PPP, some of these, if you maintain all your employees, it's free money. If you haven't applied for it, you need to. Okay, get with your bank that does SBA lending and do it. It's going to be a problem if you don't bank with somebody, because that's just what they're all up. They're so swamped. It's not their fault. They implemented this thing in a few weeks. The SBA doesn't know how to do it. The banks don't know how to do it. The bank's doing the best they can to get into the SBA. The SBA is doing the best they can. We're just going to have to be patient. Train and retrain. Boy, what a great time to train and retrain. There are some cool tools on Zoom meetings, where you can share your screen with somebody if somebody's learning something and they can actually do it. Okay. So learn the cool tools and learn how to train and retrain people from a distance. Okay. We got to be all over it. I call it next in command. Like, what happens if in a true crisis, like a battlefield or a bacterial, what happens if somebody gets hurt, or what if somebody can't do the job? Well, then there should be the next person to step up. Usually what happens is somebody can't come in, and guess who gets to do it? You do it. The owner steps down, or the person above them steps down and ends up being the person who subs in. Well, that's wrong. It should be the person below them stepping up and taking command. So we've got to have the next in command plan. For most of us, this is not an issue, but obviously we want to keep as many employees as we can through this thing. For some people, that might not be possible. And we may have to do some layoffs, but for the most part, the goal is to keep as many employees as we can. All right, step 7. Your marketing has to shift. Number 1, we have to keep marketing. I'm going to say we need to do more marketing. Okay, this is the time to be out there getting the public relations, letting the people know that you're responsible, letting people know what you do, letting others. You need to do more marketing right now. All right, the message has to be different. It can't be, hey, buy from me, beat them over the head. It's got to be, hey, we're here to help. We're a resource. The message must be different right now. It's got to be compassionate. It still has to be urgent, but it needs to be compassionate. We need to understand what people are. Like I said, increase it, don't decrease it. All right, here's the cool thing, and then maybe this is too early for this play on words, but it's got to be virtual and viral. And I don't mean in the sense of the disease. I mean in the sense of the internet. We want to create, this is some of you people need to be on doing live videos. All of you need to be creating things that might go viral, or at least locally viral. That would be useful. I saw a thing the other day where someone, just to actually help someone else out was kind of one of those situations like, do I go help her? A lady couldn't get up in a parking lot. So what do? The lady made the decision to go over and help her out. I think probably was at less risk than most people thought, but the thing went virtual, and because somebody took a picture of it, and then it went viral because, hey, it was somebody helping out somebody in need. This person was scared and nobody would help them because it was supposed to be 6 feet apart. Finally, somebody went over and helped them. What are you doing that, what are your things that could be virtual and could be viral? All right. you got to understand your numbers even more now. You got to know that, there's a lot of things you can do now that are free or very inexpensive in marketing because of all the tools we have, all the virtual tools, the Facebooks of the world, the LinkedIn's of the world, those kind of things. But we got to understand if we invest $100, we want to get more than that back. So if you're investing a lot of money invested in things that are going to work. So you got to understand your marketing numbers. We call them the 5 ways. And I've been up there and taught some of you guys this. So it's leads. It's leads. Okay, you're going to get a certain number of leads. You're going to convert a certain number of them. That's going to give you a number of customers. They're going to buy a certain number of times from you. Generally in construction, it's one. If you're a supplier, it'd be a whole bunch. And then they're going to buy an average ticket sale. So, you might have, for a builder, you might have 20 leads in a year. You might, sell 5 of them, which would be, what's that? 25%. And maybe the average sale is $500,000. They're going to buy once, and then you get your revenues out of that, and then you get to keep whatever's left over as your margin. All right. So you got to understand those numbers now even more than ever so that you can continue to market. Now, what we know is that, we can continue to sell through this thing. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, keep marketing. Keep the message out. Let people know who you are. Let people know what you do. Let people know what your superpower is. All right. Now we got to sell with compassion. All right. So the tone has to be a little different. And we've got to be seriously customer focused right now. All right. We still are selling. I did a sales call yesterday on the phone. It was pretty cool. So we can still do it for prospecting. Look, if you've got people that were, I say the way, the order of doing this. Number 1, stay in touch with your clients. Number 2, stay in touch with your former clients and referral partners. And number 3, if you have any prospects or anybody who's in your pipeline, get on the phone, talk to them about where they are standing, and let them know, hey, we're here, we're still working, we're moving through the process. I had one client who got 2 calls from people that were in the process. They're like, hey, look, we want to move up. If you have anybody who actually is freaked out by this thing, and is not going to do their job, we would like to get in their slot. So you never know where people's heads are. Okay. Get on the phone though. Get out from behind the computer and get on the phone. Okay. That's where your business is going to be done. All right. Increase your selling, not decreasing. We went over that. Hey, this is a perfect time to build those relationships. Most people are going to have a little more time. How are you building relationships with your suppliers? How are you building relationships with referral partners? See, I think this is huge for us in the building industry. Where are those relationships? Where are the people coming from that are referring you? Well, fast clients. You got your suppliers. You got the people like insurance companies, banks, all those kind of people, CPAs. We can begin to work through them. And pretty much everyone in town, we need to be building relationships with who's in a position to refer us. So this is a great time to start that, or at least get a keep in touch program in place so that you can build those relationships over time. That's what I'm working on, a keep in touch process. All right, step 9, customer service for repeat business. Okay, so maybe you don't get a lot of repeat business, but we won't repeat referrals. So let's look at it from that way. Look, we got to keep our best customers, and we got to keep in touch with them. Get on the phone. I've been over that enough. I'm not going to say it again. The customers that you have right now, the people that you're working through, you need to go above and beyond. You need to show them why they decided to do business with you in the first place. Build loyalty right now. Get the referrals, tee up the referrals now. C&Es are what's called a critical non-essential. The genius on this is a guy named Patty Lund. He was a dentist, but these are things that are not essential. If you don't do them, no one's going to notice. But if you do them, they're critical to your success, your customer loyalty. It's stuff like, sending them a card, baking them a pie, things that you might, sending them a gift box, whatever it takes to build loyalty, and it's a critical non-essential. It's something that if you do it, they're going to go, oh, that was nice. That's cool. That's above and beyond. And there's all kind of things we can get into that deeper if you want to take that offline. Remember to be virtual and visible around this stuff. Okay. Part of what you're doing here is letting the world know you're here. So if something cool does happen, or somebody you want to thank, then, and you do it in a way that's to be virtual and visible with it. Okay. 80-20 rule. So 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your business. 20% of your referral partners bring you 80% of your business. It's just the way it is. So definitely be working on those top 20, particularly around those referral partners. Keep in touch with those referral partners. Those top 20%, you know, out of 100 people, 20 of them are the ones that you want to be all over all the time. All right, step 10, you may have to change your business model. You're going to be proactive. If there's something you need to adapt to, look for opportunities. The guy I was talking to whose business, he had 4 house starts and that all got delayed in March. One of the things that we'd been working on was commercial. He wanted to get into commercial remodeling. It's something that he's done a couple of. He enjoyed doing it. Great. So now we're going out and looking for it. It's a great time, right? You go into, there's a lot of buildings that are empty, or some of these people have money. It's like, look, we can get a project done. We're probably going to give them a bit of a deal, right? That's just the way it's going to work right now, because we're looking for opportunities. So we got to be adaptable out there. We got to be able to, the word everybody uses is pivot. I'm not a fan really of the word, but shift, pivot, it's a good word, I guess. Change direction, figure it out. All right. Understand that you don't have to change all at once. You can make small changes. You know, I'd rather change 100 things 1% than change one thing 100%. Just change some small things. Do some testing and measuring. See what works. You may have to change a little bit how you do business, and it could be for the better. Always be looking to improve it. Always be looking to make it better. All right, this is the formula for change. D times V plus F has got to be greater than R. D is dissatisfaction, and V is vision. Right now, people's dissatisfaction is pretty high. Their vision is pretty, sometimes not clear. We want to raise that up. In parentheses, when we multiply those out, it's got to be greater than R. R is the resistance. Right now, people's resistance to change is pretty low. You've got some things you want to do, then yeah, the resistance is pretty low. Yeah, so, all right. So the F is first steps. Right now, what that is your 90-day plan. So your dissatisfaction, pretty high. Your vision, we need to raise it up. And then we got to get to work on our 90-day plan so that we can make the changes that we need to make to A, survive, and then B, thrive in this environment. Okay? You may have to look at the products. You may have to look at your services. You may have to look at your pricing, your delivery, your staff. Everything is up for change, okay? Just the way it is, all right? You know, like you say, you can't load a bunch of guys in a truck and take them out there now. Everybody needs to go in a different truck. There's different things that you're going to have to do to be different, all right? Sometimes you just got to break your business model. The old way just isn't going to work, okay? If you're used to meeting in person and sitting down there and doing it that way, well, that ain't gonna work. You got to get good at the phone. You got to get good at Zoom. You got to get good at sharing plans. You know, whatever it is that we can get them to them. I mean, one of my clients has said, well, I don't want to do, you know, they don't have big enough. I want them to be able to see, you know, what it is. So we're sending a lot of plans out right now when we're talking to people that are in the planning stage. Okay. Step 11, 90 days. I've been on this enough. You don't know where you're going. You're not going to get there. You're going to eventually get lost and starve. And that's a fact. So I think it's a 90-day game. We've always worked at ActionCOACH in 90 days. I've always worked in 90 days. We look at a 5-year goal. We look at a 3-year milestone. We look at a 1-year goal. And then we look at what do we got to do the next 90 days to make that happen. This even more focuses that on 90 days. All right. You want to be in a 90-day game. All right. How are you going to market and sell? How are you going to deliver and charge? What is going to change for you? Is it going to change a lot? Going to change a little bit? All right. Or is it just going to be some tweaks? I think the cool thing about what we got going on in the building industry, mostly it's probably just a few tweaks. We can keep going. Remember to survive and then thrive. Okay. Look, if you've got, you know, if you're sort of getting what you need here and you got a step by step and you want to build your plan out of that, great. What I would say is we want to build a plan that's going to bulletproof you from this ever happening again. Okay. So that you're aware, has that next person in charge plan, has the communications plan, has it worked out? All right. I've got a couple bonus steps for you. Step 12, look to invest. Look, there's a rule that spring always follows winter, always. And that's economically as well. We're in an economic winter right now, but spring always comes. Remember I said, be ready for the restart. Spring always, always, always follows winter. Be ready for it. All right. Look, the stock markets are down. It's a great time to invest. If you got some cash, look at that. If you're an investor in that, look, they're going to be companies. They're going to be complete companies that go out of business here that say, "Or I'm done." I had a friend who's he happens to be in the food business. He's a distributor, and he called one of his clients, and the guy's like, "Look, I'm done. I've been through 3 or 4 of these things. I'm tired. I'm closing her down, or I'm going to sell it." Okay, so they're going to be entire companies. And this is where I get excited. I think that this is some of the opportunities that are out there. Okay. Customers, some of these people that shut down or decide they don't want to be in business anymore, their prospects, their clients, their customers, their referral partners got to go somewhere. Why not have them come to us? That's what I say. Let's get on it. Okay, get on it now. Start looking at the opportunity. See the opportunities that are out there to grow. See the opportunities for business. See the opportunities and start acting now. All right, step 13. We got to have some common sense and compassion. Remember to over-deliver on customer service. Remember to stay clean. Don't touch a bunch of people. I think we're getting used to the mask thing. Look, some of y'all may have seen the thing. Get the things out of here. Sorry, I had a bee fly in here. It's pretty simple. Wash your hands a lot. Don't touch your face. Stay 6 feet apart. That's what all the doctors. There's a video out there about an hour long that's really clear. He's a guy who works in New York. Okay. Provide all the sanitizers, the hand stuff. Provide the safety equipment. Put your people first. Make sure they're safe. All right. Be nice. Remain calm. Lead and help people out. Okay. Just help people out. Just do the right thing. All right. So here's what I want you to do. If you're either make a 90-day plan or get with me to make a 90-day plan. All right. Get 5 ideas. Right now, I want you to write down 5 things. Get a piece of paper that you need to take action on today. This is about going hard now. Let's get going. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a few questions. See if there's any questions, and I'm going to talk about how you can possibly do some stuff with me if you want. So if you want to type in something in the chat, go ahead, and I'll see if there's any questions out there. Who's got questions? Any specifics, anything you need recommendations on? We got a little time here. Come on, there's got to be a couple questions, or maybe y'all type like I do. All right. Well, if you think of something or you want to pop in, just go ahead. So I get my clients together every 90 days and do a 90-day planning session. I mentioned that I do that. Listen, if this is for you, great. If it's not for you, that's okay. I've decided to, instead of doing it in like one long day, to drop it down to 4 sessions to cover the 4 areas that we need to handle in this 90-day. So get it done in 30 days. So I've talked to a few people. They think that's about a $550 bill. Look, here's a bonus. You get 1-to-1 session with me. That's about $750. You get into my Epic Elite Mastermind Facebook group, which is $27 a month. and they give you the digital replays and the workbook and all that stuff. So that's about $2,000 worth of value. Look, we're going to do it for $275. If anybody's interested, that's cool. If you've got what you need, that's okay too. I get it, you know, right now. But I can help you with your 90-day plan. If you just want to have a chat offline, then just let me give you my contact information. I'd love to, I'd love to work with you on your 90-day plan to get it in a format that's really useful and that sets you up to get going. So it's also a little bit more than that, because what I've found in this time right now is everybody's isolated. So we need to get outside of our own heads a bit, and we need to work in groups. And so what I've found is there's been a lot of value in getting business owners together once a week to talk about what's going on. So I'm starting getting my clients together, and we have a format where we work through like what's going well, what are the challenges, we help each other out with ideas. It's just a brainstorming group that works really well, and that people are getting a lot of value. So I'm putting this in a group format, and I want it to be continuous and rolling, not just like, hey, come in, get your plan done and leave. So we'll build the plan mostly in my one-to-one session with you, but the other piece of it's to take advantage of a group of heads. We got to get outside of our own brains and get into some other brains, because there's more power in 4, 5, 10 brains than there is in one. So listen, if that's interest to you, you can sign up here. It's lnkw.co 30-day biz plan. I will maybe put that in the chat. Let's see if I can put that in. Maybe I can. No, I can't copy it right now. It'll be on here on the replay, whatever. If that's interest to you, or just hit me up. Just remember, hey, COVID-19's disrupted the race. The pace car's out. Are you going to be ready for the restart? So let me wrap it up with, that's my contact information. But so look, you can call me on my cell phone. My cell phone's the second number, 540-290-2389. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me. If you just want to chat, look, I'm here, I'm a resource. If you want to go more in depth and jump on the 30-day program, you want a little bit more, that's fantastic. But if you just want to talk, it's free. Just call me, okay? So I'm going to leave you with some words from John Wooden. And for those of you who may not know, John Wooden was the 10-time NCAA basketball coach, champion with UCLA Bruins. I think he was the best coach ever. He's the best coach I've ever heard of. And that's coming from a guy who's grown up around North Carolina and Duke basketball. So, look. So here's what he said. His dad gave him this card with this, like a note card with this stuff written on it when he graduated, I think from elementary school, and he carried it with him the rest of his life. He read it every day, and I think this will be good. So number 1, be true to yourself. Number 2, make each day your masterpiece. Help others. Drink deeply from good books, especially the good book. Make friendship a fine art. Build a shelter against a rainy day. Pray for guidance and give thanks for your blessings every day. Listen, thanks for joining me. If you have questions, please reach out to me. My cell phone works. You can text me. You can call me. I will call you back. We'll work out a time when we can chat. If you want just a bit of a strategy session, I'd love to chat with you. So until next time, all the best.